Hello, this is Claus Jensen presenting a game played by a very talented 12-year-old boy named Garry Kasparov. In this game he's playing the black pieces against another talented player, the 5-year-older Lputian, who became international master 6 years after this game and grandmaster 10 years after this game. So let's have a look at how the 12-year-old Kasparov handles the king's engine from the black side. Game started d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, bishop g7, e4, d6, and with f3 we have the same-ish variation. Knight c6, bishop e3, a6, queen d2, rook b8, rook b1, castles, b4, e5, d5, knight d4, knight g to e2, c5, d takes en passant, b takes, knight takes d4, e takes d4, bishop takes d4, rook e8, bishop e2, and having sacked a pawn already, Kasparov here plays c5, attacking both the bishop and the pawn on b4. And after taking on c5, then Kasparov spent 25 minutes on the clock and then played the shocker knight takes e4. And of course knight takes e4 doesn't work because of rook takes b1 check, so f takes e4 is forced, and then Kasparov played the planned queen h4 check. And I think at this point a move that most players would play almost by instinct is g3. And this was in fact also what Lputian played in the game. But the best defense for Lputian would have been king f1. And then rook takes b1, knight takes, queen takes e4 check. Bishop takes g7, queen takes b1, bishop d1, king takes g7, and c takes d6 with excellent chances of holding the game for Lputian. But he played the instinctive move. He played g3, and then followed rook takes b1 with check, and if knight takes b1 here, then queen takes e4 with a double attack on the rook and then a knight. So king f2, and then it seems Kasparov is in some trouble here, because both his rook and his queen is under attack, is hanging. But Kasparov has had it all figured out and drops another bomb with the very nice move rook b2. And what Kasparov saw was that queen takes b2 would be very good for him after bishop takes d4 check, king e1, bishop takes c3, queen takes, and then queen e4, with a double attack on the rook and the bishop, and a winning game for Kasparov. So impressive tactics here. So Lputian took on h4, and Kasparov took the queen on d2, exchange of bishops on g7, and king e3. And after a lot of tactics, Kasparov is now up an exchange, and the endgame is looking a little complicated. And what he doesn't want is to allow Lputian to take on d6 at any point. So he has to make a decision in this position, and I think that the decision that he comes up with shows that this 12-year-old boy is not only a tactically talented player, he has a much deeper understanding of the game, and also shows some maturity by playing rook c2 and then king d3, and then he gives up the exchange, gives back the exchange in fact, by taking on c3, because Kasparov now sees that by giving back this material and be able to take on c5, he will reach an endgame which is favorable to him, because the white pawns are all weak. All white pawns are unsupported, And the white bishop is also a bad bishop, because these two central pawns here are limiting the scope of this bishop. So Kasparov rightly judged that this endgame would be favorable for him. Very impressive stuff from a 12-year-old, I think. Bishop d3, and with bishop b2, bishop b7, sorry, Kasparov eyes the first target, which is the e4 pawn. Rook e1, and instead of impatiently playing f5 immediately, allowing e5, then Kasparov nice and easily blocks the e-pawn first, a4, and then f5. The pawn is pinned the rook, to the rook, so rook b1, and bishop takes e4, winning the e4 pawn, rook b6, and now, after the e4 pawn is gone, then the path for the f pawn is open for Kasparov, and he doesn't hesitate. He plays f4 immediately. Lputian takes the a pawn, f3, bishop f1, bishop f5, rook a7 check, king a6, king d2, f2, bishop e2, bishop g4, bishop d3, rook e1, rook f7, bishop f5, blocking the rook's attack on the pawn, a5, bishop takes d3, rook takes f2, and rook f1. And having lost his bishop in exchange for Kasparov's f-pawn, Lputian rightfully resigned the game at this point. And I think this was a very impressive performance from a young Kasparov, especially considering his age of only 12. He showed great understanding, first tactically by playing knight takes e4. Lputian could have defended better, but then the most impressive in this game, I think, is that Kasparov gives back the exchange to reach a favorable end game. This is something you don't see any day from a 12-year-old boy playing chess. So I hope you enjoyed this Kasparov performance, and I hope to see you on my blog at klausjensen.com. Bye bye for now.